All right, dude, here we are. It's part 8 of our How to Build a Website series here. This one I'm going to show you how to very quickly install WordPress on your domain. So let's, first off, I just kind of jumped right into WordPress. So WordPress is a content management system. It is, you could build like a very static page like those first ones I showed you where like you have to enter in everything. Like you have to, I'll bring one up just so we can laugh at these old, some of these old sites I showed you. But you could have a really old style website like this where like there's no database used for this. Like every line of this was written, right? And if I make a change, I've got to change that on every single page. Like if I change the header, I got to change it on every page. It sucks, right? And that's just a very basic idea of a content management system. We have a database linking together these things. You want to get into more detailed stuff, you could get into like my site at Flannery, where this kind of shows all the different stuff that I do. I've got all these different pages, and one of them is a blog, right? So this could use a lot of work. This is kind of embarrassing a little bit to show this page off, but needless to say, I've got all these different posts for my blog, and I'm not saying that you've got to have a blog, but there's a lot of different things that we call a blog that are not, you might have news articles that you're posting. You might have photos that you're posting. You might have videos that you're posting. Or in your case, you're going to do e-commerce. You've got all the products that you're going to be posting, right? So this is all content. So a content management system is a way of kind of structuring all this different stuff. Because for every product, you're going to have a few pictures with it. You're going to have a description, a title, pricing, maybe shipping information, right? So you're going to have all that for each product, and you need some type of content management system to glue it all together to make everything work very smoothly. So the major ones that are out there are WordPress, Drupal, and Joomla. You can read up on the differences between the three. My awesome site at Open Source High actually uses Meteor, which is a whole nother ball game. The reason I choose WordPress for most of the clients I work with is that it is the most common website platform that there is on the internet. Like 66% of websites are built with WordPress. And I don't mean that just like do what everyone else is doing. I do that because it means there's a ton of support out there. Any headache that you run into, there's a good chance someone else has run into that before. And you can go to the WordPress support forum. There's all different types of things that you can get help with if you're having trouble. You can search through the support forum and say like, having trouble with product listings. I don't know. That's not really. But it'll just pull up all these old support questions that people have if they're running into problems. You could also go into Google and just type in having trouble with WordPress product listings. And there's just support in here. Oh, these are plugins. All right, so this is like mostly plugins that are coming up. You can also go to Stack Overflow, and you could say, I'm having trouble with XYZ, WordPress product listings, and like all these things that have come up that other people have had issues with. So it's awesome for that. The other thing it's awesome for is there's like crap tons of plugins, man. Plugins being things that other people have made that you can just plop into your website. So if I go to WordPress.org, a lot of them are free too. So let's say I want to plug in for e-commerce. So the most popular one is called WooCommerce. So boom, over 1 million people have installed WooCommerce on their website. So a lot of people have used it, they've tested it. If you have any questions, look, if I have questions about WooCommerce plugin, I can go over here, there's a video about it. I can see reviews on how many people have used the plugin. I can go get support for this plugin. So it's just, there's so much support and available resources that to get started, it's just, that's the way that I would go. I just did a pretty good sales pitch for WordPress, right? Oh, and WordPress is free. So it doesn't cost money to just install it, okay? So yeah, so let's say that you've logged into your hosting. So in this case, I've got a GoDaddy hosting here. You might use HostGator. Whatever it is, they all, let me close this little thing out. They all have something called a cPanel. cPanel is where you kind of go in and you manage, you know, all the details of your site. You don't need all this stuff, but some of it's cool. So you have File Manager here, which is useful. If you want information on connecting through FTP, you can. There's site backup, some tutorials if you want to get into the database. I might do a video about that. You can do that. If you want to do what are called add-on domains, so that would be if you have one hosting account but you want to have multiple websites on it, you'd go there. Subdomains, you know, I created a domain for this, a subdomain for this video. Email, I don't use GoDaddy email. So I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff here. All of them have something about web applications, whether it's Bluehost, HostGator, they all have web applications. And look, you can even see Drupal, Joomla, WordPress. And don't worry that it says blog. Like, WordPress is not just a blog. It was built as a blog and it just blew up and you can use it for all sorts of stuff. No, we'll get into that later. So if I click on WordPress, again, whatever hosting you're on, you'll see something that says install this application. So we're going to hit install the application. It's very simple. They ask you what domain do you want it to be installed on. So I'm going to go to this thing that I set up called Banana Handles. So yours would be whatever your domain is. I happen to be using bananahandles.jfwebdev. You don't need a directory. I leave that blank. Use the latest version. I don't think you need really any of this stuff, though you do have to accept the agreement. Then you need to have a username, so I'll use Flannery. You need a password, so I got that. Email. Or actually, I guess I'll use jim@jfwebdev. Website title, Mikey is a tool, and this is a test website showing Mikey about websites. And if I go through, two-factor authorization means like if you want to log in, you got to verify with mobile. Login attempts means that if someone types in the wrong password a bunch of times, it blocks them. We don't need multi-site now. And yeah, so boom, I hit install. It's processing. I have a sip of tea while it's going. And boom, look at that. So I got like a bunch of these. Most of these are just one-page landing pages. And here it's loading, copying databases, tables, all this stuff. And so I'm going to open this in a new tab. So this will take me to the page. This takes me to the admin page. So let's see. This is bananahandles.jfwebdev.com. So this is the web page right now for Mikey as a tool. And if I go here, I've got my admin. But let's pretend that we are not logged in already. So what you can do is, whatever your domain is, if you type in wp-login, that will take you to the login screen. Oops, sorry. WP admin will take you to the login screen. So here's where I would type in like Flannery, my password. And now, all of a sudden, boom, like at long last, you are in the back end of WordPress. So while we're here, I will, what am I realizing? I think there's shadows on my face coming in through the window, huh? That's all right. I got trees and I got oranges growing right outside the window here, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, so this is the back end of WordPress. And you could see over here, if I click up on this, I could look at the website. The dashboard, you can customize this to look however you want. We don't need the quick setup. We want to run in, so posts. If you go to posts, this would be blog posts. Again, blog makes it sound like you're just writing. Like, don't even worry about what a blog is. You could write like, hey, this week we started working in the shop. Look what we were building. Posting photos of like your latest thing. the more content you have on your site, the better you are going to rank in search engines because they're looking for content. So you're posting photos of projects, like you might even have a how-to of how it was built, whatever, and this is where that stuff goes. Media is where images and videos get stored. There's nothing here yet. Links, you don't really need to worry about too much with link stuff. Pages is where you're going to add pages that are like pages that aren't like posts. So like you might have an about page, a home page, a contact me page, this is an overview of my services page. You might have a page for your products and stuff, right? Comments. If you open up your website so people can post comments, they would end up landing here for you to review them. Appearance has to do with themes, which we're going to get into later. We're not going to worry about that now. And plugins is where you get to add your plugins. So that's cool. Users is where you define the users on the website. So like right now, it's just this one user. I'm set up as an administrator. Tools, right now we don't need anything with tools. Settings, you can look through some of these things. This one's interesting. Under reading, you can choose what your front page is. So right now all there is an about page. But before it was showing, like right now you can see this is showing your posts as your home page. I'm going to change that so that the home page is the about page. So like, boom, if I hit save, if I go in here and refresh, now my home page is my about page. So very simple stuff. And I think that's enough about just setting up WordPress. And just in time, somebody in the kitchen started using the blender. So that is a good place to wrap it up. The next thing I'll get into here is we'll talk about choosing a theme and installing a theme. And I think I'll show you some cool page builder plugins. And we'll go from there. We're almost getting there. We almost have something built. We're moving along. All right, man. Cool. Hope this was useful.